Alright, welcome back guys to my WWE Monday Night Raw review, the 1000th episode of Monday Night Raw for July 23rd, 2012. And I really liked this show. I had no doubts that this show would deliver based on nostalgia alone. I mean, it just had all these names come back, all the legends were here, and it was a really good show from the beginning to the epic ending with CM Punk turning heel. Just awesome stuff here. Tons of surprises. Pretty much everybody was here except Stone Cold Steve Austin, who I guess was there in spirit. They kept playing montages and stuff for him, so that was a little disappointing, but it didn't hurt the show for me at all. I really liked the show, and 3 hours, and entertaining the entire time. So I have to give WWE credit. They pulled this off. But now that this show is over, and it's time for WWE to go 3 hours every single Monday, it's going to be difficult. They're not going to have all these legends to fall back on to get cheap pops from the crowd. And they're going to have to rely on their own booking and all this other stuff, feuds for the undercard, and it's going to be tough. But as far as this show goes, it was good. I liked it. It was in St. Louis. And the first thing I noticed is we got a new intro. I was kind of thinking they might do something like that, and we got a new intro to the show, and they played this awesome montage of all these Raw moments from the past, and it was just really cool. I like that. I really don't see how you can be a wrestling fan and see all these great moments and not enjoy the show. I mean, they did a lot of great stuff here, and just from a wrestling fan standpoint who's watched all these moments before in the past and seeing everything tonight for the 1000th episode, I really liked it. So Vince McMahon comes out to start the show, and he says, "Welcome to Monday Night Raw." He introduces DX, glow sticks out the ass. It was Triple H and Shawn Michaels. They had all the merch on. They even joked about all the merch. And they say, "Didn't there used to be more of us?" And then the Jeep they drove to WCW when they invaded pulls up, and it's got Billy Gunn, Road Dogg, and X-Pac in it. Road Dogg does the greatest tag team champions of the world. He does that bit, including censoring badass Billy Gunn, which I thought was a nice touch because it is PG now. And Triple H brings up HBK losing his smile, posing for Playboy or Playgirl, which I thought was really funny. Billy Gunn and HBK are about to do the "if you're not down with that" spot, and Damian Sandow interrupts him. He says that if they attack him, he will be a martyr, not a victim. And DX huddles up. Sandow actually tries to get in the huddle. I just thought that was hilarious. And he gets hit with the Sweet Chin music and a pedigree, and that was it. It was a good opening, and I really enjoyed this entire segment. It was really cool to see all of DX back, everyone except for China, I guess, but all of DX back, and Damian Sandow even get some TV time out there too, so it was really good. JR comes out to do commentary, but it's only for the first match, sadly. I don't know why, but he did a great job as usual. And it was Rey Mysterio, Sin Cara, and Sheamus versus Jericho, Ziggler, and Del Rio. Jericho goes for a lion salt, and Ziggler hits him, which allows Sheamus to hit the bro kick on Jericho for the win. There were a few botches here, but I still enjoyed it. I thought it was a good match, and they're still working towards Ziggler versus Jericho, with Ziggler attacking him, even though he's his tag team partner here tonight. Then we get Charlie Sheen, the social media ambassador for WWE, and I heard something like he's supposed to be the media ambassador, but he like quit Twitter or something. I don't know, but he's on Skype. He talks a couple times throughout the night. He says the show's been epic, and he would fit in with DX and Sheamus. We see AJ getting ready backstage for her wedding, and Layla asks her if she really wants to do this. And AJ says, "Why does everyone keep asking me that? Why does everyone keep asking if I'm mentally stable? This place is unstable." and she opens the door, and we see Hacksaw Jim Duggan walk by. We see R-Truth and Roddy Piper playing jump rope with Little Jimmy. We see Mae Young and her son, a guy in a hand costume. I guess he's a hand boy or something like that, and it was funny. I mean, it was cool. This was a good Raw because it was a good mixture of nostalgia, funny moments that you didn't have to take too seriously, and some really major moments. So I thought it was a good combination of everything tonight. A Sonic girl brings over some slushies. I guess that was some advertisement spot they had planned. And then we get Jack Swagger versus Brodus Clay. Brodus actually introduces Dude Love to watch the match, I guess, because he just stood at ringside. And the match was very short. Brodus hits the splash, gets the win. Afterwards, him and Dude Love dance, and Dude Love hits the mandible claw on Jack Swagger, continuing the burial of Jack Swagger. Backstage, Trish Stratus is teaching Triple H yoga, kind of like the old Raw skit they did together. DX comes in and laughs at him, and then X-Pac hits on her, and it was very awkward and creepy to me. Daniel Bryan is talking to some guys backstage. I don't know what this was. Nothing ever came of it. My initial reaction was that they're supposed to be mental institution workers. But like I said, nothing ever came of this, so I don't know. Maybe we'll find out more in the future. Or maybe they'll just never mention this again. But yeah. So we get the wedding. And the preacher is actually Slick, who I thought did a great job. Daniel Bryan and AJ both say, I do, or yes. And AJ says that she wasn't saying yes to Daniel Bryan, but to someone else who proposed earlier tonight. And then Vince McMahon comes out. And he says that it was a business proposal, and the new general manager of Raw is AJ. Why? He said something about how this is 1,000 episodes, and to make sure 1,001 is still just as entertaining, I'm making AJ the general manager of Raw, but why? I mean, she's barely a diva. So, I mean, I guess they could do some cool stuff with it, but if Raw's going to be 3 hours, and AJ's going to be a huge part of each Raw as general manager, it's going to be tough. That's a lot of AJ to take in. And I don't know if people are ready for that much AJ. I think it might be a little too much, but we'll see what happens. AJ skips around Daniel Bryan. Bryan snaps and destroys the decorations. After commercial, Bryan is still in the ring, freaking out. CM Punk comes out, makes fun of him. Bryan says that he's the greatest of all time, which causes The Rock to come out. He's got a new t-shirt, of course. He calls Daniel Bryan Frodo and says whoever is the champion at the Royal Rumble is going to have to face The Rock for the title. So that was another big announcement for tonight. Punk says that he will still be champion and he will beat The Rock at the Royal Rumble. Rock tells Punk he's going to be the new champion. Bryan steps in and says, this is supposed to be about me. This is supposed to be my time, my night. And he says that The Rock is going to fight me. Somehow, some way, he's going to win the belt and fight The Rock at the Rumble. The Rock looks at him. Oh, and he says he will become the new face of the WWE. So The Rock looks at him and says, you're going to be the new face. You look like a homeless lumberjack had sex with a Oompa Loompa. And then he rock bottoms Daniel Bryan. I thought this was fine, but my only concern is where is this going to leave Daniel Bryan? Like, what's he going to do now? Because right now he doesn't really have a feud unless you count Charlie Sheen. Right? I mean, other than Charlie Sheen, who did Daniel Bryan get set up with for a feud tonight? So, I don't know. But I still thought it was a good segment, and at least Daniel Bryan was in there with The Rock. I mean, that's something. They did a poll for the fans to pick who they wanted The Rock to face at the Rumble between Punk, Big Show, and Cena, and Punk actually won the poll by a good bit. And at first, after I watched this segment, I was thinking to myself, what does this mean? Does this mean that it's going to be Cena versus The Rock? what's going to happen here. But after Punk's heel turn tonight, I think it is going to be Punk versus The Rock at Royal Rumble. And that's going to be pretty cool, I think. Guest ring announcer, Bret Hart. He talks about winning the Intercontinental title against Mr. Perfect. He introduces Christian versus The Miz, which was a good match. Christian sells a knee injury pretty much the entire match. He goes for a kill switch. Miz reverses it into a backdrop, but Christian lands on his feet, sells the injury, and gets hit with the skull-crushing finale. Miz wins, new Intercontinental Champion. I thought this was great. Finally, something for The Miz. I mean, the guy's been jobbing to Santino and Brodus Clay before he left to go do that movie. And now he's back and they put a title on him. I think this is great. I don't know. Maybe it's because Christian won the poll or something, but it would have made more sense to give him Santino's title. But I guess since he's the Intercontinental Champion, that means we're going to see The Miz on SmackDown more, which is good for The Miz and SmackDown. So I like this. I thought it was win-win. More Charlie Sheen. He says that he likes The Rock and calls Daniel Bryan an Oompa Loompa. Regis Philbin talking about some of the wrestlers he had on his TV show. And then Triple H comes out. And this was ass. I hated this crap right here. This was probably the worst segment in the entire freaking night. This was horrendous, the way this went down. He calls out Brock, and Paul Heyman comes out instead. Heyman was great. I mean, he was awesome here. And he says that Brock said no. He's not going to wrestle him at SummerSlam. So he says he feels sorry for Triple H's kids, and then Stephanie McMahon comes out. Of course, she's got to get involved. It's the 1000th episode. She says that these lawsuits are Paul Heyman masking his failures in WCW, ECW, and WWE. Very lame. She says that Heyman's kids are ashamed of him and slaps him. That's 3 lawsuits. Right? I mean, so Heyman gets pissed and he accepts the match for Brock. And then he looks at her and says, "I fell for it, you're good." And he does all that crap, and Stephanie's smiling at him. He says something else about, "Is that how you raise your kids?" And Stephanie snaps, starts attacking him. And then Brock comes out, starts fighting with Triple H. And Triple H actually knocks him out of the ring. That was shit. So there's $5 million for your ego, Triple H. I mean, if you didn't know, WWE paid Brock Lesnar $5 million for like 30 to 40 appearances. These little appearances he's doing. And to make Triple H look good? I mean, it's like they seriously spent $5 million for Triple H's ego. I mean, even tonight, Triple H knocked Brock out of the ring. Made him look weak. I have no idea what they're thinking here. This is a really, really stupid jackass thing to do. I mean, it's just horrible. And it really pissed me off that they did something like this already, because I really don't care about SummerSlam for that match now. I have no interest in it at all anymore. So good job, Triple H and WWE, for killing any credibility Brock could have had going into this thing. He broke Triple H's arm. He put him out of TV for a few months, and then he comes back and gets made to look like a joke. There you go. What do you need a match at SummerSlam for? You already made him look weak. So, yeah, I didn't care for that at all. They did another poll for the WWE 13 video game where fans could pick a dream match. And it was Austin versus Cena. And even in the game, Cena goes over. It was unbelievable. Highlights from the Steve Austin versus McMahon feud. Santino and Hornswoggle come out with some dolls. Those old, they're like new versions of those old little stuffed dolls based on like Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior from the 80s and stuff. And Howard Finkel comes out to do the guest ring announcing. And Heath Slater comes out. Says the only match people are going to remember is this match tonight. He says it's going to be an epic match, and CM Punk's girlfriend, Lita, accepts the challenge. I did not expect that at all. So Lita comes out, he laughs at her, and she says that she hired some protection. And APA come out. Bradshaw and Farouk. Heath actually tries to leave the ring, but Road Warrior Animal's music hits, and then at the entranceway, all the legends who Heath Slater has fought over the past few weeks come out. Vader, Sid, DDP, everybody. Every single one. And they start walking towards him, even Slaughter, Piper, just everybody. And he runs back into the ring, gets hit with the Twist of Fate, a disgusting clothesline from hell by Bradshaw. I mean, it had to hurt. It had to hurt. And Slater is standing up like a lawn dart after getting hit by this damn thing. And then Lita hits a moonsault for the win. I'm not sure why. This was clearly a disqualification, but whatever. And Lita wins the match. And afterwards, Farouk says, "Damn." So I thought this was good. Sean Mooney interviews Daniel Bryan backstage. He says that he was stood up by AJ, laid out by The Rock, insulted by Charlie Sheen. And he says that Charlie Sheen needs life management, and that if he was here, he would put him in the yes lock faster than he can say winning. Very good. Very good promo by Bryan. Michael Cole talks to the 100 millionth social media follower. Then we see Fozzie Bear of the Muppets lead into a catchphrase montage. I thought that was alright. Zack Ryder, Mean Gene, and John Cena are backstage talking, and Ryder tells Cena that he figured out that Mean Gene was the guy behind GTV. The Rock comes up, tells Cena good luck in your match. Cena says that he's going to cash in tonight and win so that he can get another match against The Rock at the Royal Rumble. Then Kane comes out. He gets interrupted by Jinder Mahal and the Job Squad of Hawkins, Rex, Hunico, Camacho, and McIntyre. They surround Kane, and the lights go out. And Undertaker's music hits. And the Super Shredder himself comes back. I did not expect this at all. I know some people were thinking, hey, maybe even Taker would show up. I seriously thought Austin was more likely than Taker. But Taker comes back, and he teams up with Kane to take out the jobbers. They hit some double choke slams, double tombstones, and then they just kind of stand there. I mean, that's what happened. They just kind of stood there, and then they did their poses. I mean, that's what happened. Charlie Sheen is back again, and he says he would beat Daniel Bryan. I don't know what they're doing, what they're thinking. Something about next time he's in his area, he would be happy to fight Daniel Bryan, and Cole and Lawler actually put over the fact that they will be in his area for SummerSlam. So, I don't know. God help us if they try to make Daniel Bryan sell for Charlie Sheen. Surely they're not that stupid. Then we get John Cena versus CM Punk. This was pretty good. The crowd was kind of going for both guys here, pretty strong. And Punk goes for the GTS. Cena shoves him into the ref. Ref takes a bump. Cena hits the attitude adjustment and pins Punk, but the ref is out. And while the ref is out, Big Show comes down, spears Cena, hits the WMD, and Punk is just watching. He looked like a scared child, like cowering in the corner during all of this. And then Big Show leaves, and Cena's laid out. And Punk is acting all conflicted, like, oh, what do I do? I mean, do I pin him? This isn't the right thing to do. So he goes out and gets the ref. He wakes the ref up, brings him in, pins Cena, and Cena kicks out. So he goes for the GTS, but Cena turns into the STF. And then Big Show comes back in again, starts attacking Cena, throwing all these punches, slamming him, and Punk turns his back to the attack. He refuses to help Cena, and The Rock comes down to the ring. He gets in the ring, he hits a spine buster on Big Show, he's going for the people's elbow, and Punk clotheslines The Rock. That was it. That's all he had to do to turn heel, yet he also hit the GTS on him. So the last thing we see is Punk standing over everybody. Big Show's down, Rock's down. Rock sold this like death. It was a very good job. And Cena's down. And so Punk picks up his title and he walks up the ramp. And Lawler says something to the effect of Punk has turned his back on the WWE Universe. And I thought that was a great way to end this show. They said something big was going to happen. And we got a few big things, I thought. I thought we had some really good stuff here. And a lot of people, myself included, expected Punk to turn heel. And he has all the motivation in the world. I mean, the guy's held the belt forever, and the only thing that matters is what Cena's doing. He's not the main event, even though he's the champion. He's constantly being, second place to John Cena. So he has the motivation to turn heel, and I think he's got the mic skills. This is going to be good. This is going to be good. Punk, The Rock, I hope that's where they're going with this. Cena obviously still has some stuff to do with the Big Show, and we'll see what happens. But I have to say, I was very excited with the show tonight. They did a great job with this. Only thing I can say I missed was Steve Austin. It's hard to do this without Stone Cold. He was such a big part of it, but he was still there in spirit, like I said earlier, in the little clips and stuff. So I really enjoyed the show. I thought it kicked ass. So that's my review of the 1000th episode of Monday Night Raw. I hope you guys liked the video. Leave your thoughts on this episode in the comments below, and thanks for watching.